Porco Rosso as a period piece is quite elaborately constructed. The attention to detail, replicating the post-World War I era, is an example of what makes Miyazaki movies so special. His almost fetishistic fascination with aircraft during that period is on display for all to marvel. The little ins and outs of flying and maintenance of a plane feels extremely authentic. We see this again in his most recent film, The Wind Rises, a similar period and equally as impressive picture. While that movie takes place in pre-World War II Japan, Porco Rosso is set in Italy as the fascist government starts to take hold. However, the human element of this film is what I appreciate most. Yes, the architecture and machinery are accurate to the period, but more importantly, so are the people. The aura of these characters, the dialogue and the interactions are replicated to the same scrutiny as the ships they're in. The charm of Porco Rosso highlights a special ability that is more powerful than the machine guns in their planes. How a person carries themselves is as crucial to survival as any other talent you may have. Not only does this lead to several extremely entertaining interactions between people, but it's just so real. The value placed on one man's honor in this war-torn era is maybe the only thing that actually matters, and Marco holds that same value. Especially now, since he's been turned into a pig due to a curse, only his merit, internal values and demeanor could garner him success. There's no superficial thing to attribute his success to. The lawlessness that is consequence of war leaves honor as the only regulation in place. This intangible sense of reputation creates a meritocracy, giving order to the orderless. Those who break this code are no longer respected and lose all social standing. This is such a fundamental aspect of men during this period. This immaterial currency can buy so much. We're also on the verge of the age of celebrity. The people who are worshipped by the public are no longer exclusive to war heroes and leaders. Charisma is becoming as important as bravery. Charm is as vital to survival as skill. The flying pirates lack charm and are consequently easily prey to the charm of others. However, even though their honor is quite suspect, when they kidnap the group of girls, they don't scare or harm them. The honor they do have prevents them from killing these innocent kids. They just want the money. Watching Gina handle these jokers at her hotel shows her immense presence and keeps them in their place even when Marco walks in. These gruff, uneducated criminals still understand these basic, unwritten rules. The pirate's hired man, the American Donald Curtis, is a similar man of charm. He is drawn to Marco, distancing himself from the rougher crowd. He fights against honorless action no matter how slight the offense, like these two journalists interrupting Gina's singing. Marco is a worthy challenge to him, a man that can fly with the best of them, and has the affection of Gina too. Curtis has a confidence about him where he'll propose to any woman that catches his fancy. He gets ahead. He is successful, one of the best fighter pilots out there. He has his wits about him, using his talents to make money and his charm to have others buy in. He sees Marco as a threat, someone who is able to get what he can't and directly obstructing his ability to do so. He is the better pilot. He has Gina, and later Theo, and on all these fronts Curtis challenges him several times and loses. And even after all of that, he would later go on to have a successful career in Hollywood. I mentioned her briefly. Here we have the film's most captivatingly charming character, Theo. A beautiful 17-year-old girl who's a hotshot upstart plane mechanic. She is not yet disillusioned by the world's problems, being so young. She's driven and refuses to take no for an answer. She out-charms Marco, convincing him to give her a shot designing his new plane. A woman, let alone a teenage one, is probably the last kind of person he wanted to trust to do that. She proves herself by staying up all night working. He can't help but believe in her, seeing a similar drive in her as he did in himself when he was that age. With the threat of capture, she risks her life with Marco and leaves Italy with him. The fascists are now running the country, trying to suppress and replace this individualist-focused meritocracy, and Marco is clearly a danger to that. We never get a clear picture of who these agents are as they blend together. They have no honor in the eyes of our main cast, just people who give up their freedom for safety. They take orders and fall in line, graying out into an amorphous symbol that lacks humanity. He and Theo barely escape their advance and fly to his island, where the pirates are waiting for ambush. Here we get to see how easily won over the pirates are by Theo. With no use of violence, her charm overpowers their weapons. Even these criminals are swayed by the test of their honor. Our friend Curtis comes back to, again, challenge Marco. Last time they fought, Curtis was able to best him and led to Marco having to make the new plane in the first place. He accepts, plus if he wins, Curtis picks up the bill for his new plane. Theo, putting her trust in Marco, offers herself to Curtis, as he has nothing left to wager. This gentleman's agreement satisfies everyone and they leave with no one being harmed. It was a stellar example of this social contract and my favorite scene in the film. Fio yet again captivates the pirates like she does the audience, and Marco has faith in her to do so. While she is going on her tear, he sits idly by, knowing they will fall prey to her charms, like he did. They make a great team and I can't get enough of them. Marco's honor and loyalty to Fio and Gina empowers him to win the fight, and respectably, Curtis pays up. This virtue I find so interesting. It's something that has started to erode from our society because now the only thing that matters is the celebrity. I love how Miyazaki romanticizes this outlook and makes a movie around it. Porco Rosso has my favorite cast of any Ghibli film. There's so much life in them. You can look at Marco and see the unbearably heavy amount of baggage he carries around. The war affected him. It's disillusioned him with humanity. Before the war, he was a normal-looking man. The context makes it seem the pig curse was a self-infliction, denying his humanity. Miyazaki states Marco once intended to marry Gina, but when the war broke out, Gina, being an Austrian, instead chose his country, kind of like the fascist regime he comes to despise now. Once on the battlefield, witnessing the death of his beloved friends, the innocent thoughtlessly killed, his faith in humanity waned. This internal conflict sparked the question of, is there any meaning to this? It lacks the honor he values so much, and this lack of resolution has sentenced him to this cursed life. Then, for one brief moment, on his island with Fio, he looks human again. I believe this spawned from Fio's influence on his life. He even says when he looks at her, it makes him have some faith in humanity. While she slept by him, he left his guard down and the curse was lifted until she called out to him, and he put up his guard immediately, almost subconsciously. The only time this happens again is near the end when Fio kisses him goodbye. His face is hidden off screen, but Curtis screams, "Your face! Show me your face!" implying something changed. This change in him is fundamental to the overall message of this film. Ghibli movies are no stranger to the anti-war themes, and in Porco Rosso, it is present, however, a bit more subtle. The heart of it preaches something so simple and pure, that both love and honor is what has meaning. With those two things, being human is worth it. What a noble outlook, and what a fantastic film. Thank you for watching. This is a bit more serious in tone than most of my other videos. You want to see more upbeat anime analysis, I have plenty of videos that'll hit that spot. If you liked it, please consider subscribing and sharing the video. They help so much, you don't even know. Follow me at Twitter at Second Look Games to get even more updates on upcoming videos. This is Second Look, signing out.